Raul Asensio, Rudiger. Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. Just a slight delay to kick off here as Real Madrid held a minute's silence for a couple of former managers that have passed away in the last week. But we are now ready to get underway here. It's Real Madrid taking on Arsenal, and Arsenal, of course, with that fantastic 3-0 win in the first leg last week, giving themselves a real chance of getting past these the absolute giants of European football that are Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid. And straight away inside the first 20 seconds, we've got a bit of a strong challenge there for Mikel Merino going in on Jude Bellingham. But really, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen this evening. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Luke Ashurst taking into action. And Luke, we were just saying off air then that really this could be a game where Arsenal just keep it very tight or Madrid get an early goal. It really is very hard to predict exactly how the game's going to go.
It is so difficult to predict. It's the most built up and anticipated Champions League quarter-final I can remember for an awfully long time, just because there is so much history behind it, not through the opponents, because Arsenal and Real Madrid very rarely face each other, but Real Madrid are in unseen territory. We've never seen them 3-0 down before after a first leg against a team who you were probably shocked that they were 3-0 down against from the first leg, and that's no disrespect to Arsenal because they're a very, very good team, but this is a Real Madrid team that don't lose 3-0 in first legs or don't lose 3-0 in the Champions League full stop. So this is a huge game. I'm really excited for it, and my team's not even involved in it, so that tells you how big of a game it is, and I just don't know what to expect. It's so difficult to predict. I just think we're in for an absolute thriller, to be honest.
I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be a very, very good... Well, it could end up being a very sort of tight affair, but that in itself is going to make it fascinating because both of these teams are much better at going forward than they are defending, and of course Real have to go forward here to try and make up this 3-goal deficit. Just to remind you, Thibaut Courtois is in goal for Real with the back four of Lucas Vazquez, Raul Asensio, Antonio Rudiger and David Alaba. It's Federico Valverde, Aurelien Tchouameni and Jude Bellingham as a midfield three. I'll just break off from that though because Madrid win the ball in midfield and Mbappe goes out towards the left-hand side. It's Vinicius Junior breaking into the box. He wants it on his right foot, gets it on his right foot, and Mbappe has chested that ball into the back of the net. But he does so from a quite clear offside position. So although Madrid do have the ball in the net inside the first 120 seconds, we'll just wait to see this replay, but it looks like he was a long way offside.
Yeah, it does look like Mbappe's a long way off. I don't think he's expecting Vinicius to have a shot from there. He doesn't get himself back on side, but how big of a warning sign is that for Arsenal straight away? You can't believe they've given the ball away midfield that easily and left themselves so exposed along the back line. Also as well, they're in a bit of a sticky one here because they're taking so long already over free kicks. Jakub Kivior's taking his time over this one, now leaves it for David Raya. I tell you what, there will be some choice words being said behind that goal of David Raya. Already, we're what, nearly 3 minutes in, we are set up for a really tasty fixture tonight.
And David Raya, being Spanish himself, will understand every single word that those fans are going to be saying to him there. Because you're absolutely right, there was a sort of discussion between Kivior, Raya and the referee. Are you sure this is where the free kick is from, ref? Is this definitely the right spot? It was a free kick inside their own box after an offside. It doesn't need to be that precise, but Arsenal, of course, trying to eke out every second. But now they've gone on the attack, and it's Bukayo Saka down the right-hand side, getting towards the edge of the area, leaves it here for Thomas Partey, surrounded by Madrid players. Valverde and Vinicius are able to dispossess him, and now it's Mbappe who dropped a long way off inside his own half. He starts off a move down the left. It's a really good run, and then he finds Vinicius Junior. Arsenal are far too open here. Vinicius Junior into the box. The ball into Mbappe is just a little bit short. But again, it's another warning for Arsenal inside the first 4 minutes, and a really strong challenge there from David Alaba, and that's going to be a booking inside the first 4 minutes. Another point that my colleague made just before we started this game is that he doesn't expect it to be 11v11 after 90 minutes, and a challenge like that, I think you might be absolutely right.
Yeah, that's not a nice one, is it, from David Alaba? He knows exactly what he's doing there, goes flying in to Bukayo Saka, and that's exactly why I'm not convinced that we're going to see both teams finish the game with 11 men on the pitch. We saw it last week at the Emirates, didn't we? Really poor from Camavinga, knew exactly what he was doing, frustration more than anything, and he got himself sent off. He was already going to be suspended for this game, so it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. But I think in this one, if we see a red card inside an hour, all of a sudden this game is changed massively, whether it's for Real Madrid or for Arsenal.
Absolutely. Just to give you a quick update as well, we have got a Premier League game being played this evening that's available on our service. Newcastle were 1-0 up against Palace. They still are 1-0 up against Palace. Palace have just missed a penalty in that game. Jacob Murphy had given Newcastle the lead before a missed penalty by Ebere Eze. So that game is available on our service, as indeed is the game between Inter and Bayern, which is 0-0 early on after Bayern won the first leg 2-1 last week. Arsenal now down the left-hand side with Martinelli. Just leaves the ball here for Declan Rice. Now it's Miles Lewis-Skelly just going square to Thomas Partey. Arsenal in their all-black changed Champions League kits this evening. Real, as always, all in whites at home as Lewis-Skelly turns away from Jude Bellingham, gets brought down. And from Madrid's point of view, I understand why they want to put a couple of strong challenges in, because it sort of gets the crowd going as well. But, I mean, there wasn't too much in it from Bellingham there. But at the same time, as we saw Arsenal wasting time with that free kick, you don't want to give them too much of an excuse to waste even more time.
No, you don't. But you also want to make sure that you're winning the ball back in dangerous areas, because we've seen Arsenal give it away in poor areas already this evening. You don't give them an excuse to kill the game off and slow things down. Forward they come, the Gunners.
They do. It's with Partey now down the right side. He goes for goal. And it's just swinging away. It was played across from Partey over towards Saka, and it actually started off with Vinicius Junior losing the ball. Timber hits the deck, and as Odegaard turns away, it's then played through towards Bukayo Saka, and his strike. I mean, it's a right footer shooting. I mean, he's a left footer, but shooting with his weaker right foot across the goalkeeper. Wasn't actually too far away as Madrid now break forward, but it's far too open, the Arsenal half. Just looking at the way that ball reached Bellingham. It's now Mbappe on the left, breaking into the penalty area, puts a cross in, which is behind Vinicius Junior, and Martinelli back inside his own penalty area. Just plays that one away as Mikel Merino was bundled into there by Antonio Rudiger. And Merino has stayed down on the ground momentarily. Looks like he's okay to play on, but Madrid is certainly trying to lay down a bit of a physical marker here early on.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think that was something that they lacked, and a number of Real Madrid supporters and officials have admitted that since. They weren't physical enough, they weren't strong enough in that first leg. Arsenal wanted it more than Real Madrid. It's very, very clear Real Madrid wants it more in this second leg from the opening 6.5 minutes. They have hounded Arsenal in this opening period of the game, and Arsenal very much on the back foot, as we expected, though, to be fair.
I think Arsenal would have gone into this game knowing that they're going to have periods where they just have to sit back, but they just won the ball back in midfield after Lucas Vazquez was caught in possession, and now Gabriel Martinelli is off down the left-hand side, heading towards the penalty area. He's got Raul Asensio just closing him down. Asensio then goes straight through him. That's a free kick as far as I'm concerned. The referee's giving Arsenal an advantage. They probably would have preferred the free kick just a few yards from the edge of the area, but it's Bukayo Saka now moving in from the right-hand side. He gets away from Alaba. He goes for goal, and he forces a save out of Courtois. So maybe in the end, Arsenal were quite happy that the referee allowed play to go on, but Madrid really need to tone down these challenges.
Those are the two matchups that will affect Real Madrid more than anything this evening. Bukayo Saka up against David Alaba and Martinelli up against Lucas Vazquez, because those two are going to get the beating of those fullbacks, you'd feel, all evening. Arsenal get the first goal tonight, it's game done and dusted. I don't care whether it's Real Madrid at the Bernabeu or whoever, you're not coming back from 4 goals down with less than 90 minutes to go. So if Arsenal get the first goal, which they're more than capable of doing, as we've seen, Real Madrid find themselves in a near impossible situation. And with tackles coming in from David Alaba on Bukayo Saka just then, like we've seen, where they've just been completely off the pace, it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
No, it's not. And Arsenal have won themselves their first corner kick of the game as well. Good work down the left-hand side, and it's Declan Rice looking to try and swing this one in. Interesting that there aren't too many Arsenal players inside the... In fact, there's hardly any Arsenal players inside the 6-yard box. It's a whole line of Madrid players there, though. Arsenal just milling around on the edge of the area, and the ball's now sent towards goal. It's actually just underneath the crossbar from Declan Rice, but it's a good save in the end from Courtois, who just stands with his arms aloft, a bit frustrated he couldn't get that ball out a bit quicker. Does roll it out now, though, and it's Bellingham over towards the left-hand side for Rodrigo. Towards the halfway line, just been marked there by Odegaard, playing it back towards midfield here as Tchouaméni just going square towards Valverde. Arsenal still trying to play a high offside liner just to make it a little bit more difficult for Madrid, something they didn't do actually in the first few minutes when we saw Madrid hitting them with a counter on a couple of occasions. It's now with Vinicius Junior on the left-hand side. Saka trying to close him down, but Vinicius gets all the way into the penalty area. 3 Arsenal players closing him down, and in the end, they just about get the ball off him, but here's Rodrigo backing him up. He then plays it into Bellingham. Bellingham trying to get it back towards Mbappe. It's picked off by Declan Rice, and now here come Arsenal with a chance to counter themselves, and it's played over towards the right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. Heading towards the penalty area. He's got 3 Arsenal players in support. It's Odegaard, Merino and Martinelli. If he can get the ball to them, he just leaves it here for Rice. And now Odegaard into the box, just plays it through towards Bukayo Saka. It just gets tangled as he tries to pull the trigger. Tchouaméni there with the challenge, but fine margins there. If that ball in from... well, we're just getting a break in play here now, actually. I'm not entirely sure what this is for, as the referee spotted. The referee is going over to watch a replay What's he going to be seeing? Was there a foul inside the Arsenal penalty area?
There must have been something inside a penalty area, but this has taken a very quick amount of time for the referee to suggest that there's a potential penalty. I tell you what, they are in big trouble, Real Madrid. It's Lucas Vázquez. This corner was ages ago. In fact, no, sorry, my apologies. It's not Lucas Vázquez. It's Raul Asensio. This corner was ages ago. I can't believe what I'm seeing, but the referee's pulled it back from a corner about 3 minutes ago to potentially give Arsenal a penalty.
We've had 3 passages of play since then.
We have.
The referee has seen the replay. The referee has given a penalty to Arsenal inside the first 10 minutes. And I'll tell you what, if the Santiago Bernabeu was a little bit riled up before this, they are going to be absolutely seething about this one. Raul Asensio gives the penalty away. Arsenal have, and he gets a yellow card as well. Francois Letexier, our French referee, has given a... I mean, you have to say that whilst it's the correct decision in terms of there is a foul, I mean, the other side of it, it's Mikel Merino, by the way, that was getting pulled down by Asensio, but... How many times have we seen this? I mean, Timber gets blocked off there at the near post, but the way that Merino hits the deck, I mean, we see that so many times in the Premier League, every weekend, really. I mean, I can't really say that foul, that shirt pull and that fall in the box is unique, really. You see it so often.
I don't think it's greatly different to what we see, but I think what the problem is for Raul Asensio is he holds on to Merino once, Merino continues his run, and he doesn't let go at all. The pressure, the contact is consistent throughout the entirety of that run from Mikel Merino. That is the issue for Raul Asensio there. I have to say, I know he's grown into this starting role at Real Madrid. I saw his European debut against Liverpool at Anfield, where Darwin Núñez, who has not had a good season by anyone's estimations, really gave him a torrid evening that night at Anfield. And yes, I know he's gotten better alongside Antonio Rudiger since that game, but I have to say that was a tackle of inexperience, of just complete lunacy, to be totally honest. At this stage in the Champions League, that is awful.
It is asking for trouble, but then, as I say, it's... You know, players hold on to each other all the time. It's just the way, as you say, it's because he tried to do it twice, the way Merino fell. But as I say, VAR, they were on the money, and they've spotted this now, and it's a penalty. Odegaard is always just minding the ball now for the actual penalty taker, who is Bukayo Saka. Short run up here from Saka. It's Saka against Courtois. The referee has whistled. He's just waiting there. Bukayo Saka settling his nerves. Plenty of Madrid fans behind that goal are trying to distract him. But Saka now steps up and just flicks. Oh, it's saved by Courtois. It's a very lackadaisical penalty from Bukayo Saka. He tries a little flick up in the air, and is that going to be the little shot in the arm that Madrid now need? After Arsenal were given a controversial penalty, they don't take advantage of it.
I know this is going to sound really daft given it's only a saved penalty. I think Arsenal are in big trouble now. How many times do we see missed penalties, saved penalties become momentum shifters in a game, can cause huge issues? Well, this is exactly what this moment could be for Real Madrid. What Bukayo Saka is doing, I have absolutely no idea. He has missed big penalties in the past and recovered. He should know that in situations like this, you do not take a penalty like that. That is really, really poor. We are, however, getting another stoppage from the referee. I'm not quite sure what for. I think he's just given a thumbs up to Declan Rice. Okay.
Rice was complaining that there was sort of bits of plastic and stuff being thrown onto the pitch, which obviously they can expect a bit more of now, with the Madrid fans really up for it, having had that controversial penalty saved. Now it's Rice's corner, heading towards the near post. It's headed away by Asensio. In fact, it already headed out before it was even cleared away, so it's going to be a goal kick now to Real Madrid. But plenty of drama already inside the first 14 minutes here at Santiago Bernabeu. Still goalless, but it really shouldn't be. Arsenal were given a penalty. They haven't taken advantage of it, and now the entire stadium, but barring the away end, of course, are going to be absolutely bang on it. They're really going to be getting into the Arsenal players. Every touch is going to get booed as Mbappe now trying to turn. He gets brought to the ground. The loose ball is mopped up here by Valverde, as Madrid in possession now down the left-hand side. Early ball from Alaba trying to pick out Vinicius Junior. It's just put out of play there by Jurrien Timber. Out for a throw to Madrid now on the left-hand side. But say, if we wanted any more fuel on this fire for this game, we've certainly got it now.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, they've gone away with one there, haven't they, Real Madrid? They certainly have. I mean, there was 4 or 5 players that surrounded Francois Letexier very, very quickly after that penalty was given. Lucas Vázquez had it explained to him by our French referee. he didn't seem happy about it, but ultimately Real Madrid had to accept it. Arsenal had to punish them. They're not going to get a chance like that for the rest of the game. That was the moment to kill this tie off. You know, you score 3 goals in the first leg, you'd think the game is tied off, but you're away from home at the Santiago Bernabeu. No tie is ever killed off when you've got to go away from home against Real Madrid. But when you get a penalty inside 11, 12 minutes, you've got to punish them. You've got to find the back of the net. And Bukayo Saka didn't, and now all of a sudden they're on the back foot massively.
They are, and it's really a question about Arsenal's character now, how they survive this, because here come Madrid now down the left with a ball in from Vinicius Jr., just cut out before it got through towards Alaba, who'd moved all the way into the box as well. It's now long clearance here from Thomas Partey, but it's just a clearance. It's not a pass to anyone in particular. It's just Arsenal clearing their lines all the way back towards the Madrid penalty area. Meanwhile, it's now 3-0 to Newcastle against Crystal Palace. That early Jacob Murphy goal followed up by that missed penalty from Eze. It's a bit of a theme this evening, isn't it? And then Mark Gay with an own goal to make it 2-0 before Harvey Barnes making it 3-0 before half-time in that game. But here come Madrid now down the left-hand side, a ball into the box. They're appealing for a corner. I think they're going to get that decision as well, as Vinicius Jr. just getting stopped there by Timber.
Yeah, good defending in the end from Yuri and Timber. It really is. I mean, it should be a goal kick. I mean, from where the referee's positioned, I'll offer a little bit of sympathy, but we've got to keep an eye on decisions like that. Obviously, one has gone against Real Madrid already this evening. Let's see how many go against Arsenal.
It's an in-swinging corner. Raya comes out. He gets a bit of a punch to it. Gets towards the edge of the area. And just dropping towards Vasquez, who was the furthest back. Vasquez going for goal. It's Declan Rice who gets his body in the way. Second effort from Vasquez is charged down, and it's now over towards the right-hand side where Mbappe will just let this bounce out for a throw to Madrid, which Mbappe takes himself, going back towards Federico Valverde. He puts a ball in, which is headed up in the air by Kivior this time, getting that ball away. It's a second chance here for Madrid down the left with Vinicius Jr.'s ball into the box, headed away to the edge of the area, kept alive here by Tuchemeni, playing it in towards Vasquez, who hits the deck. He wants a free kick. Don't think he's going to get it though, and it's eventually cleared for a throw to Madrid. Arsenal cannot clear their lines, but you can be sure that any 50-50 decision now, the Madrid players and the fans are going to be expecting the referee to go in their favour.
Well, yeah, they are, and it's one of those nights where you feel like maybe their decisions will do. They're one of those clubs, Real Madrid, where they always just seem to have something up their back pocket, whether that be a refereeing decision or whether that be a moment of magic or some sort of madness, as we saw in the penalty shootout against Atletico Madrid with that double touch from Julian Alvarez. Who knows? You never know what you're going to get from Los Blancos. A lot of the time, you don't know what you're going to get from the Gunners either, and we still don't know. They had a great opportunity to kill the tie off. We're seeing replays of it now. I can't believe Bukayo Saka's done that.
No,
I really can't. That has absolutely baffled me.
Just to give you an idea, in one of the replays you can see this facial expression of Courtois. He's actually panicking because he's dived too far over to the left. The ball is going so slowly, he's got to check and move his arm up to actually make the save, because he's dived so far into the corner of the goal and then realised that the penalty is so weak that he's just got to get his arm up there and make a save. It's a very good save from Courtois, but I mean, it's almost like slow motion considering what goalkeepers are used to when it comes to penalties.
But a Panenka, I mean, it's not even really a Panenka, is it? Because he never looks like he's going to smash it, which is what you have to do to get away with a Panenka. But a Panenka in that situation is never the right idea. I can't believe that's what he's thought to do.
He's just assuming that he's going to send the goalkeeper the wrong way. That's all. That's basically what's gone wrong for Bukayo Saka there, when he's hit it so weakly that Courtois, even when he sort of dived a little bit too far over to his right, he was still able to make the save. But Arsenal have won themselves a free kick just inside the Madrid half. It was a foul on Miles Lewis-Skelly, taken short here to Kivior, played back over towards the left-hand side as Martinelli was off. But that ball is overhit and out for a throw to Madrid now down the right-hand side. Our first shots of Mikel Arteta this evening. Interesting enough, they haven't showed us the Arsenal bench's reaction when that penalty was saved, but you can imagine that they were absolutely devastated with that one.
Yeah, they will have been, because Mikel Arteta will know that was the moment for Arsenal to get properly ahead in this. Well, I say properly ahead. We keep talking like Arsenal are 1 or 2-0 up from the first leg. They're 3-0 up, but just... it's the power of the Bernabeu, isn't it? It really is. And that is the moment to go 4-0 is unassailable. I mean, Real Madrid have never come back from a 3-0 first leg deficit, and all week it's been talked about, well, what are Real Madrid going to do to get back into it, which is madness given the history of the fact they've never come back from 3-0 down. But you still wouldn't put it past them. It's unbelievable.
No, especially with this sort of... as a ball is played across from the left-hand side, it was Jude Bellingham firing one across the 6-yard box. Rodrigo was closest to it, but he's just a little bit short of getting on the end of that one. Alaba was on the overlap as well, but it's a good ball from Bellingham. It's actually curling in towards where Rodrigo was coming in, but just a little bit too quick for him.
Yeah, and this is where Arsenal have got to be careful, because every single time there is a moment like that, you've got the Real Madrid players geeing up the home fans, trying to get the atmosphere up, which surprises me. I wouldn't have thought they would have needed to have done that in this first half. I would have thought the atmosphere would have been up high enough anyway, but that's what they're feeling is necessary. Mbappe picks the ball up now inside the penalty area.
He does. It was a ball played over the top into Mbappe. That's really good covering, though, right on the line there. That's excellent play there from William Saliba, just making sure that goes out for a goal kick with no further problems. They're having a lot of injury time at St James's Park. It's now 4-0 to Newcastle there, so it's a complete disaster for Palace. Just goes to show what happens if you miss a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely, and Arsenal will be hoping that that's not the case. But of course, if this game finishes 4-0 to the home side after the away team missed a penalty, that will be Arsenal out of the Champions League, and it'll be Real Madrid that face PSG in the semi-finals of this year's competition.
Well, Arsenal almost caught in possession inside their own half. Thomas Partey having to work miracles there as he had 3 Madrid players around him. Odegaard is caught in possession. He's not fouled. Arsenal have played themselves into this trouble. Here's Vinicius Junior now breaking into the box. He's got an overlap, but he wants to go himself. He hits the deck. All those Madrid fans are up. They feel there was a foul inside the box. VAR, I'm sure, will be looking at it, but in the meantime, Arsenal clear their lines back towards the halfway line here. Rudiger and Asensio now over to David Alaba on the left-hand side. And so Vinicius Junior was caught there by Timber. He's asking, for a bit of... he's asking for trouble there, Timber, I think, in the way he's going in there. But free kick to Madrid now and a chance to get the ball into the box. Yeah,
it's all stems from Martin Odegaard, doesn't it? He's just got to knock it down the line, looking for Bukayo Saka. It's poor from him. We then see a replay of the penalty appeal from Vinicius Junior. If that gets given as a penalty, we ought to just stop putting tackles in and just allow players walking. It walked the ball into the back of the net, because that is as shoulder-to-shoulder as you can get from Thomas Partey. Jurrien Timber then puts in a really poor one. Partey... his gamesmanship at its finest, isn't it? From the Ghanaian midfielder, has just hit the deck. Rudiger taps him on the back because he knows what he's doing there, the German, because he's done it as well himself, hasn't he, on this pitch. This is brilliant to watch. It is gamesmanship from both teams, and it's absolute finest, and I have to say I love it.
Well, isn't it? It's one of those things where you're frustrated when it's done against your team, but your team do it. Now there's a bit of pushing and shoving, and now it's Raul Asensio who hits the deck. And as I say, really, from Madrid's point of view, they don't want to be doing this because it's their own time they're wasting, really. But as I say, the referee keeping an eye on all the pushing and shoving now as Alaba is going to try and whip this ball into the box from the left-hand side. It's played in towards Rodrigo. He can't get a clean hit on it. It's just played towards the edge of the area now where Tchouaméni going back towards Vasquez. His ball into the box is headed down. It's headed down by Raul Asensio. And the referee has pointed to the penalty spot. He's given a yellow card to one of the Arsenal players. What is going on here? Oh, my goodness me. And it's Declan Rice that's got the yellow card. He says, I swear I didn't touch him. Declan Rice was on a yellow card from the previous game, so he is going to miss the next game if Arsenal get through. But now, well, we were always expecting this after a very sort of soft penalty given to Arsenal. Looks to me like Madrid have got themselves a soft penalty here. We'll have a look at this.
You could not write it. The hero from the first leg. No. I mean, if you're going to give the penalty to Arsenal, I think you've got to give the penalty to... actually, no, maybe you don't. I don't know. Mbappe's hitting the floor, isn't he? Whether Rice is touching him or not in that situation. Of course, the yellow card means that if they do manage to get through this second leg to face PSG Arsenal, Declan Rice will miss the first leg against the Parisian side. Declan Rice is in deep conversation with Lucas Vasquez. Look, to me, I don't want to see this given because I think this is incredibly soft. And I think this is less of a penalty than the penalty given to Arsenal. But I think the VAR will probably look at it and say, well, if we're giving the first one, we've got to give this one. I don't know. I think Mbappe has thrown himself more than you can imagine.
Yeah,
we can't describe how much Mbappe's thrown himself here.
He's felt Rice's arms on him, and he's instigated the fall rather than being pushed to the ground. However, VAR is checking this. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not. So they're going to ask the referee to see the replay. If they do, then generally speaking, that means he may be changing his mind. I mean, you can see some of the Madrid and Arsenal players are sort of talking very friendly. There doesn't seem to be any sort of anger amongst them, any animosity. It's almost like they're sort of comparing notes as to how they were getting one penalty and now the other. But the referee is taking a little while here. I just wonder, as you said, I mean, if VAR have given the one for Arsenal, are they strong enough to say that the contact here between Rice and... No, it's.
You can't. I don't think you can. I don't think you can give it for that personally.
Because for a start, he's never ever going to get to the ball there. That's the other thing, which isn't always an argument. But I mean, in this case, as I say, it's taking a little while. It's taking a very long while here, actually.
Surely, if you're VAR, you just send the referee to the monitor straight away, and say, look. It might be penalty, it might not, but we'll let you have a second look at it the same way that we let you have a second look at the first penalty as well. By the looks of the reactions from some of these Arsenal players, they, I think, know that the referee's going to give it. Rice is now having a conversation with Mbappe. I don't know why Letizia needs to continue to have conversations with both Vázquez and Ødegaard, both captains of the two sides. I think he just needs to go to the monitor, and he can still give the penalty if he has to look at the monitor.
I've always wondered this, why referees spend so long calming all the players down, saying, yeah, we're checking it. Just check it with the VAR. Go over and watch it. But it's been turned into this kind of procession where we know that once the referee goes over to the monitor, there's a chance he'll be changing his mind. As we can see Mikel Arteta there desperate to try and get the referee's attention just to point out to him he doesn't believe it is a penalty. But I suppose he would have felt that about the first one as well, which his side sadly missed. But it's taking a long, long time here for them to confirm everything. We're going to see this replay. There's certainly no suggestion of Mbappe being offside. However, now, this is the question. Raul Asensio, he was offside when that ball was put into the box, wasn't he? Or has he got back in time? Because it may well be that he's headed this onto Mbappe and there's an offside to be checked on as well. But I may be clutching at straws here. I'm just wondering why it's taking this long. They either decide that there's enough contact or there isn't. Then, once they've made that decision, then, of course, the referee's going to have to go over and watch it himself.
Well, we're up to 3 minutes now in terms of the length of this VAR check. There's no question about it. Raul Asensio gets a touch on the ball. It's just whether he's onside or not. And with the semi-automated offside technology that we have in the Champions League and now in the Premier League, to be fair...
He's going to watch it.
He's going to watch it. He's going to go over to the monitor... They must have. The only thing I can assume is they were checking everything in the build-up. How that's taken 3 minutes, I have no idea. But that is clearly what's happened. They've then said, "Okay, we'll send you over to the monitor to make sure that you're happy with whether it's a foul or not." Me and Paul have made our opinions clear. We don't think this is enough to give a penalty. I don't know. I really don't know, Paul.
It really does depend on what the referee is being told by his colleagues as well. What side are they dropping on? Are they saying that? I mean, clearly Asensio gets a touch. I'm assuming they've ruled out the fact that if he was offside, that would have overruled everything else anyway. So he must be onside. Everything's fine with him. The question now is whether they've decided that there's enough contact. It doesn't look like a penalty to me.
It doesn't.
The first one didn't either, in all fairness, but this one looks even less of a penalty.
But again, we said this though with the first penalty, do not give the referee and the VAR a decision to make. If you give them a decision to make, then all of a sudden you put yourself in problems. The referee's ruled it out. I don't believe it.
Wow, unbelievable.
Oh my, there is going to... The fans inside the Santiago Bernabeu will be absolutely furious. I mean, it has just come up on our screen. The reason it's been ruled out is for offside.
Oh, it is for offside.
So they must have... that whole check must have been, has Raul Asensio touched the ball? That must have been what's been determined there.
But he clearly does touch it. I can't believe it's taken them that long, but they has taken them that long. We're going to get a fair amount of injury time. We're at 28 minutes, so I suppose this is about halfway through the first half. And I'll hand over to Luke for the remainder of these first 45, which have been fascinating up to now.
They've been absolutely brilliant. Cheers for that, Paul. The question is does Declan Rice still have that yellow card? I'm sure we'll get that confirmed I think time.
There was a bit of an acknowledgement towards the referee, so I say we'll need to double check that, but I think it may have been wiped off because the referee, I think he still has the power to do that in terms of a VAR decision. But now, absolutely game on. Arsenal still 3-0 up on aggregate.
Very, very lucky. I mean, both teams are very, very lucky to have not have conceded a goal yet in this game. And we'll wait to see whether we do see any goals in this game. But it will be Arsenal in possession now with Lewis Skelly down the near side. We'll play a nice ball down the line for Mikel Merino, who lets it run for Declan Rice. But Asensio will get there ahead of the Englishman and just go back to Thibaut Courtois, who, of course, currently for Real Madrid is the hero of the leg so far. Bear in mind, he saved that penalty from Bukayo Saka, but he's not really had too many questions asked of him since then, as it is now Los Blancos in possession inside the centre circle with Jude Bellingham. Onto the left-hand side for Aurelien Tchouameni. Further wide now for David Alaba on the far side. Back inside to the former Monaco midfielder. Bellingham now to Rudiger. Rudiger onto the right for Federico Valverde, who's going to step further into midfield and find Rodrigo. Back to Valverde once again. every single Arsenal player 10 yards behind the ball inside their own half, very much looking to try and keep things tight and compact as Lucas Vazquez now has it on the right hand side, looking to try and get away from Martinelli. Will lay it back off to the Uruguayan Valverde. Right-footed ball, chipped into the box, a terrible one, and that will just go out of play for a goal kick. And this is where Real Madrid are, I feel, going to struggle, because they're looking to try and chip those balls over the top, looking in behind Arsenal. You're not going to get in behind with the Gunners tonight.
No, if Arsenal can keep their shape and keep their line, then it is going to be very difficult for Madrid to use that particular tactic. I mean, they've actually had more joy just trying to get down the channels here. We've seen a lot of work from Madrid down the left-hand side already. But you'd hope that with Arsenal sort of learning with every attack what they need to do. It's a long clearance from Ryan, now headed on here by Mikel Merino.
Yeah, great header from Merino. It puts Real Madrid in a fair bit of pressure, although Rudiger deals with it nicely. Asensio wanted an offside, but he's not going to get it. And now forward come the Spanish side down the left with Alaba. Further down the line now for Vinicius Jr., who's one-on-one with Timber until Ødegaard comes across to help. Now with Mbappe, 30 yards away from goal. He's going to go for goal! And it had Raya scrambling. It had me a little bit worried from an Arsenal point of view. That was going to find the top corner, because he struck that beautifully, Kylian Mbappe. And I tell you what, that didn't seem far away at all. It's not far away.
It's not. I mean, he's a right footer shooting from the left. He's sort of angling, dipping, and coming off the laces there. It's missing that top corner by about a yard in the end. But the way it was swerving through the air, you're absolutely right. Raya was concerned, had to sort of track that all the way. But that's a warning for Arsenal that Mbappe's not just dangerous in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Just in case you're wondering, by the way, in the other Champions League quarter-final being played tonight, Inter Milan are currently level at 0-0 against Bayern Munich. It's 2-1 to the Italian side after the first leg in Bavaria. Forward come Arsenal, though, in our game at the Bernabeu. Ødegaard onto the right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. Gets away from Alaba. Finds Ødegaard with a deflection. Ødegaard tries to chip it in behind. Why didn't he shoot on his left foot, Paul?
It's on his left foot. Just put your foot through it. He's got such a precise strike with his left foot as well. Trying to be a little bit too clever there, I think, and Arsenal have committed a few too many players forward, perhaps.
They have done. Forward come Madrid down the right with Rodrigo. Back into the middle for Jude Bellingham. All of a sudden, there's plenty more black shirts back to defend against the few white shirts coming forward of Real Madrid. It's now with David Alaba. 31.5 minutes gone at the Santiago Bernabeu. It's Real Madrid 0, Arsenal 0. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Currently, it's the Gunners going through 3-0 on aggregate, but forward come Los Blancos. Rodrigo off of the right-hand side, inside to Bellingham. Tackled well by Thomas Partey, and forward come Arsenal. Ødegaard skips away from the Madrid number 5, plays his left-footed ball over to Bukayo Saka inside the centre circle, who was done brilliantly to win a free kick there off of David Alaba. Just steps in front of the Austrian international and then hits the deck. Really impressive play. But I have to say, the player I've been most impressed with so far for Arsenal in this first half, Thomas Partey. He has been brilliant in that centre midfield.
He has. It's worth remembering that recently he's also been filling in at right back for Arsenal in many, many games. But the fact that he is so adaptable straight into that more preferred central midfield role. And he is a very, very steady central midfield player, Thomas Partey. There's no doubt about that. He has all the qualities. I mean, he has been used as a centre-back in emergency situations as well. And now we can see... I mean, I have to say, the foul on the foul in inverted commas on Mbappe is limited. But I can't understand. If what they were checking was just the offside, why did it take so long? Because... we could see it from the first replay that Asensio clearly had got a touch on the ball. And it does surprise me, unless they wanted to sort of double, triple check and they were sort of looking at it too much. But now Arsenal are trying to get down the left-hand side and there's a foul on Declan Rice.
There is. I will say I don't think they were checking whether Asensio was offside. I think they were checking whether Mbappe was offside after the touch from Asensio, because that one was very, very tight. So we're just going to have a bit of a stoppage now for Declan Rice. Or is it Mikel Merino? It's Mikel Merino that was really daft from Antonio Rudiger. He's just killing more time.
It is. I mean, I can see why the Madrid players would want to do it once or twice, because what it does is it gets the crowd back on their side and it shows up that soft Arsenal player that's hitting the deck again. So I can see from like a PR perspective why Madrid want to do it, but do it once or twice a half. Madrid are doing it too often and it's giving Arsenal what they want, which is an excuse to slow the game down.
Yeah, positive PR is not what Real Madrid need now in terms of what their fans want. It is goals, and it is goals sooner rather than later, you would feel, because as the longer this game goes on, the more comfortable Arsenal will feel, dropping deeper and deeper with a 3-0 lead. But right now it is the Gunners that will come forward on the attack with this free kick from Martin Ødegaard. He raises his right arm. It looks as though he's going to send a left-footed ball into the penalty area. He is, and it's not a bad one. It's not dealt with by Madrid as Timber on the half volley will strike towards goal, comfortably over Thibaut Courtois' crossbar, and Real Madrid can get playing straight away from the goal kick. It's David Alaba in possession. Just goes back to Antonio Rudiger inside the 6-yard box. Now back to Thibaut Courtois. Square onto the right-hand side for Asensio. Tries to drive past Mikel Moreno, but he hasn't got the pace to do so. So we'll go back square to Antonio Rudiger, who of course faced Arsenal a number of times for Chelsea when he was playing on English shores. Now at Real Madrid, he's probably their best centre-half at the minute. But he can't really do much to affect the game so far. It's mainly the forward players that need to turn up for Real Madrid this evening. As forward come Arsenal with Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side. He's tackled well by Vinicius Jr. and the referee gives a free kick the way of Real Madrid. I'm not quite sure how that's gone the way of the Spanish side.
No,
but
I'm not sure
they
either.
can restart from the back.
Yeah, Madrid will be happy. I suppose he just gets rid of Bukayo Saka, who's looking dangerous on that right-hand side. But yeah, he's had an interesting game, the referee. He's made a couple of course, apart from the big decisions, which I think both of us were a bit surprised about. But then I suppose he didn't give the Arsenal penalty. It was his mates in the VAR room that pretty much told him to check that one, and then he gave it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like our referee this evening, Maxence Letessier. I've seen him referee a number of games in Europe this season. I think he's done a really, really good job. And I think tonight he continues. I think you can afford to give away one or two slightly iffy decisions given the pressure that's on you, as long as they're not completely game-changing decisions. By way of the penalties, I think, yes, the Arsenal one was a little bit soft, but it was certainly more of a penalty than the first one. And it would appear that the second one for Real Madrid was ruled out on the basis that there was an offside. Either way, we are going to restart now from an Arsenal goal kick after a long ball sent forward was allowed to run out of play by David Raya, who's now going to send a long right-footed ball forward as the Arsenal goalkeeper has been yellow-carded over taking too long over that specific goal kick. To be honest with you, that didn't even seem like that long.
No, it
but
didn't.
Maybe the referee's just trying to put a stamp on things.
Nip it in the bud early, absolutely. But in the meantime, Marino plays the ball out towards Saka, and Arsenal on the attack.
Yeah, they are on the attack. Ball in behind to Ødegaard. He is tackled brilliantly by Raul Asensio, who once again tries to gee up the home crowd at the Bernabeu. I have to say, I mentioned it earlier on, I think if the crowd is needing geeing up 36 and a half minutes into this leg, then I don't really know. I don't really know what you can do as a player to try and keep this going.
No, I think part of it may just be sort of just to get that little bit extra. I think it's also to try and show the Arsenal players just how much the crowd are with the Madrid players as well. But yeah, I mean, I agree. It may well be that the Madrid fans are just a little bit nervous about the situation as well. But corner kick now to Arsenal. It's going to be an in-swinger from Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what the England international can do from this one. We know how good Arsenal are from set pieces. Ball swung in. It's not dealt with by Courtois. And eventually, I believe, a foul is given inside the penalty area for a push on one of the Madrid defenders. We see once again Asensio marking Marino. He hits the deck far too easy. That's not what the referee gave a free kick for.
No, it couldn't have been for that.
And that would worry me if I was Ancelotti.
Essentially, Mikel Moreno and Asensio were holding each other, and then Asensio let go and fell to the ground. So there's no way that could have been given as a free kick. But there was a bit of pushing and shoving just around Courtois after that ball was played in. But we're at 37 minutes here. As I say, I expect there to be at least 5 minutes of added time at the end of this half, if not more. And so far, so good for Arsenal. They haven't scored, but they also, most importantly, haven't conceded.
For the first checkpoint will have been half-time, won't it, in this one? Don't concede those early goals as a bare minimum expectation. You'd assume from Mikel Arteta. The main target will have been keep it 0-0 till half-time. You put yourself in a great position. But there is still time to go, of course, in this first 45. Header forward from Valverde is cleared away by Rice. Then the loose ball further cleared by Jakub Kiwior. Now forward comes Martinelli down the Arsenal left-hand side, held up by Tchouaméni and tackled brilliantly by the French midfielder, although the ball's gone out of play on the near side for a throw-in. That's great play from Aurélien Tchouaméni. It just slows up that Arsenal counter-attack, and it means that Lewis Skelly has got to step forward to take this throw-in on the near side. But again, these dead ball situations suit Arsenal down to the ground as Lewis Skelly will take his time over getting the play restarted. We'll quickly throw it back to Kiwior. Kiwior looking for options in front of him, hasn't got too many. We'll play it down the line to Martinelli, attempts to let it run. Asensio will quickly play it out of play for another throw-in on the near side. Camera pans to Carlo Ancelotti. I wonder what he'll be thinking at this stage of the game, Paul, because I don't want to say he'll have been expecting a goal, but the way that Real Madrid have built this game up all across the week, they made it out that this was going to be an impossible game for Arsenal. Actually, I'm not going to say it's been easy for Arsenal, but Arsenal face games like this every single week in the Premier League. This is not the test that Arsenal will have been expecting.
David Raya's had a very quiet game, in fairness. I mean, he's had to come out for a couple of crosses. He had that shot from that swerving effort there from Mbappe, which he had to keep an eye on. But other than that, I mean, his defenders have had to be working very hard to stifle Madrid in midfield and at the edge of the box. But actually, the Arsenal goalkeeper has not been tested, which after 39 minutes, regardless of all the stuff we've had with the 2 penalties and everything else, I must admit, I did think that Raya was going to be busier than this.
Yeah, so did I. His biggest issue so far in this game has been the yellow card given to him by Maxon Letexier, who, he just looked bewildered, didn't he? David Raya when that yellow card was brandished by our French referee, as Real Madrid have won themselves a free kick.
Yeah,
and it's daft, isn't it, from Gabriel Martinelli?
It is. He's on a yellow from an earlier game as well, so he's got to be careful. He doesn't get a booking on that occasion, but he's going to have probably his final warning as far as the referee is concerned.
Yeah.
Now, free kick for Madrid in a decent position as well.
Yeah, it is a decent position. It's a dangerous area. What will Rodrigo do from this position? Right-footed ball into the box isn't a bad one. Great header away by William Saliba. Vinicius Jr. will pick it up on the far side. Another ball in. Another header away by Saliba. Valverde. Ball into the box. Finds Alaba. Back out to Vinicius. Thought about the cross. Shifts it onto his left foot. Still going Vinicius. Left-footed ball in. Is blocked well by Jurrien Timber. And out of play for a corner kick on the far side. Arsenal defend it well again.
They do. They have got numbers back and they're doing very well here just to try and keep Madrid at bay. And it is working so far, whether it's a combination of Arsenal being very good in defence and Madrid perhaps just not having enough inventiveness for the time being. But it's going to be an in-swinger here from Rodrigo. Yeah,
we'll wait to see what the Brazilian winger can do from this position. Once again, another player inside the penalty area ends up on their backside. This time it's Jurrien Timber, having been, I don't want to say thrown to the floor by Antonio Rudiger, because we both know that, oh no, I take it back. Rudiger did in fact throw Jurrien Timber to the ground.
I mean, that was probably more violence than what was used for the penalty that was given.
Yes, absolutely. So an interesting one there from Antonio Rudiger. Jurrien Timber just keeping his arms away from the German as the corner is swung in. David Raya gets a brilliant punch on it to take it away from the penalty area. Valverde is going to let that ball roll out to play for a throw-in. That was really good goalkeeping from David Raya because he was surrounded by black and white shirts. He got through the crowd of both his teammates and his opponents and was able to punch it away and out for a throw-in. And again, it suits Arsenal down to the ground with less than 5 minutes till half-time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good punch from Raya. Martinelli, they're pretending he thought that might have been an Arsenal throw just to get in the face of the Madrid player there, Valverde, who wanted to take the throw on as quickly as possible. Arsenal really are doing what they can here to frustrate Madrid as another Madrid player hits the deck in midfield, but there's a bit of space in midfield now, another chance to get forward.
Valverde finds Jude Bellingham brilliantly, 35 yards away from goal, spreads it onto the right for Lucas Vazquez. Thought about the cross into the box, instead will take it away from Martinelli. Left-footed ball is not a bad one, and he's flicked on by William Saliba, I believe, and he was almost on the end of the boot of Antonio Rudiger. We'll see from the replay. It's a great ball in from Lucas Vazquez, which does take a nick from William Saliba, who straight away said to Thomas Partey, you've got to let me know that short ball. And in the end, almost a very hairy moment for Arsenal. Corner swung in from Rodrigo, not properly dealt with by Arsenal again. Bellingham will pick it up, back out wide to Rodrigo, lays it off to Mbappe, opens his body up, flicks it into the penalty area. Partey reads it well, and now forward come Arsenal until Ødegaard gives the ball away.
Ødegaard does give the ball away. They didn't even reach the halfway line before Madrid win it back, but this is now starting to be the sort of attack after attack that I was expecting from the home side, and Arsenal really have to be careful.
Mbappe, 30 yards away from goal, trying to fashion the space, one-on-one with Ødegaard. Will play it onto the right-hand side for Lucas Vazquez. Thought about opening his body up, instead goes square to Valverde. Valverde now finds Jude Bellingham, chips the ball in behind, looking towards Alaba. Header away by Declan Rice. It will still, though, fall to Vinicius, who gets away from Saka too easily. Vinicius, ball to the box, blocked well by Timber, out to play for another corner kick. Arsenal, they've not got long to hold on, but if they can hold on, they're in a brilliant position come the second half. But the crucial thing is there will be a large amount of added on time come the end of the first 45 minutes, and there is still time before that added on time. As a corner swung in from Rodrigo is a poor one, headed away well by Mikel Merino. Vazquez thought about swinging it in early, instead he's going to be held up by Bukayo Saka. They're going to have to restart from the centre circle here, Real Madrid. Valverde will move it on to the left for Rodrigo, cuts in on his right foot, trying to get away from Martin Ødegaard. Thought about chipping one in behind for Vinicius. Ball to the box isn't a bad one, flicked on by Saliba. Lewis Skelly will get it cleared, and it's not a bad ball looking for Bukayo Saka, who's surely fouled by Raul Asensio. I mean, he is having an absolute shocker. Tell a lie, it's Lucas Vazquez who's given that free kick away. I was just about to say Raul Asensio is having a terrible game, but he's gotten away with one there because actually it's Lucas Vazquez.
It's a nasty one that from Vazquez.
Yep.
He sort of really puts his sort of shoulder into that to make sure he gets a lot of contact there with Bukayo Saka. And that last corner kick from Madrid, as you said, it wasn't the best, but actually Mikel Merino hides himself when he's already in mid-air. That just makes it a little bit easier for that ball to get into the 6-yard box. I thought he potentially had enough time there to get that header away himself. But the thing that I think all Arsenal fans and players will be looking at in the next 45 seconds is what our fourth official is going to do in terms of the added time.
Yeah, absolutely. We will wait to find out. It must be at least 5 minutes. Given one of those penalties took 3 minutes to decide whether it was a penalty or not, potentially even 4 minutes as well. So there's got to be a host of added on time at the end of this first half. Martinelli skips away from Vasquez, tries to play a ball towards a penalty area. Tchouameni gets there ahead of Merino, then gives it straight away to Kivior. Kivior then finds Partey, who finds Ødegaard. Ødegaard towards a penalty area, tackled well by Antonio Rudiger, who's injured his knee in the process. That will worry Real Madrid because he's had knee injuries in the past that could prove to be an issue for the German. But the focus is now on Vinicius Jr. driving forward. Does he get away from Yuri and Timber? No, he doesn't, because he's brought down. Is that going to be a yellow card? No, says our French referee. Forward come Real Madrid quickly. Mbappe one-on-one with Timber, trying to create the space. Ball to the box. He's not defended well by Arsenal, and Partey will eventually get it cleared just as the fourth official holds up for 7 minutes added on time.
Well, we said it should be at least 5, so we can't say that 7's a big surprise to us. We have lost a lot of time because of the 2 penalties and a couple of other decisions as well. So about 6-7 minutes sounds about right. So there's still plenty of work to do. But here come Madrid now with a strike at the edge of the area from Vinicius Jr., who's actually been quiet when you think of how much of the ball he normally sees.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not had too many touches of the ball that... Well, probably not as many as he would have liked in this game, but Real Madrid certainly growing into it. Rodrigo, ball into the box, headed away well by William Saliba. Has been linked with Real Madrid pretty much constantly since these two drew each other in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's clear to see why Real Madrid are big fans of him, and credit to Saliba because he's not let his performance levels drop at all, given those links to the clubs that he's playing against. I'll bring Paul in a second. Opportunity now for Madrid as the ball comes into the box, pinballing around. Arsenal can eventually get it cleared. Marino clearly playing for the free kick there, and the referee will play an advantage because Ødegaard plays it forward, and then looking for Martinelli. It's a terrible pass. Ødegaard struggling in this one.
He is struggling, and that wasn't actually a difficult ball to play out there towards Gabriel Martinelli. It's a shame from Arsenal's point of view that he couldn't find him because the counter was on. I mean, the point you make about Saliba being on Madrid's hit list, of course, another Premier League player, Murillo, apparently is also on Madrid's hit list. So they have got a couple of Premier League defenders in mind this summer, potentially. But Saliba would be, I think, on most clubs' shopping list because he's a tall, strong defender who pretty much has the culture of a midfielder in terms of being on the ball. So there's every chance that most clubs would take him, and Arsenal are going to work very hard to keep him. Here come Madrid now. Vasquez firing one across the 6-yard box, headed away by the aforementioned Saliba.
Yeah, absolutely. Vasquez, though, wins it back easily off of Marino. Marino, then pretty sure, fouls Vasquez in the process. I don't know how softly he's gone down, but Arsenal will continue till the referee noticed that it looks as though it's a head injury.
Yeah.
He's going to say no to it being a free kick. I'm not sure, because Marino was really, really daft in the way that he goes in there on the Real Madrid captain. We'll wait to see a replay of it now. Does he make too much contact? No, not enough for it. It doesn't make contact with his neck, would be my argument there.
No, he doesn't. But there's a shoulder into the back there. I mean, this earlier ball from Vasquez was actually really good. Well, the technique to sort of hit that ball at quite a height and get it across the 6-yard box was impressive. But unfortunately, from Madrid's point of view, he wasn't able to find anybody from his side on the end of it. But we can see Vasquez. A slightly sort of sarcastic thumbs up there towards Mikel Merino to say, oh, that's how we're going to play from now on, is it? But yeah, after all of that, it's just a drop ball with the ball back with David Raya. So that's worked out very well for Arsenal because it was Madrid in the attack.
It certainly has. About just over 4 minutes to go of this first half after 7 minutes were added on at the end of the initial 45 minutes. Arsenal will look to come forward again down the left-hand side with Gabriel Martinelli, squared up by Lucas Vasquez. Will go inside to Thomas Partey. Partey then skips it in behind for Martinelli, and if his first touch was a little bit better, he'd have been in a really good position to get the ball to the penalty area and cause Madrid some problems.
Frustration here for Arsenal. I think that they've had, if anything, if I could criticise Arsenal for anything in this first half, it's that perhaps their accuracy, their sort of levels in attack have been a little bit off. I think 2 or 3 times we've seen just in the last couple of minutes passes being a bit wayward, and actually if they'd have just been a bit more precise, they could have done a bit more with the limited attacking position that they've had. Yeah,
absolutely. Ball at the feet now of Raul Asensio for Real Madrid, looking to try and step forward into midfield. Finds Jude Bellingham onto the right hand side now for Vasquez. It's really difficult to tell, I would say, from this first 45 minutes. Is this Arsenal shutting Real Madrid out, or is this Real Madrid playing like the Real Madrid we've seen this season, which is probably slightly below their expectations.
I think it's both. I think it's Madrid playing below their expectations and Arsenal also shutting out that below expectation Madrid fairly well. As I say, Raya is making a lot more saves in terms of coming out for crosses, but still not too much in terms of shot stopping in the first 45.
Yeah, absolutely. As Vazquez now on the right-hand side swings a right-footed ball in. Raya's going to gather. Tchouaméni was running in. He was just behind the Spaniard for just in case he missed it. He didn't miss it, David Raya, and it's a great catch. Him and Thomas Partey have probably been Arsenal's two best players in this first 45.
Yeah, I agree with that, absolutely. Partey's been the best outfield player, and Raya has been commanding in his box. That's the important thing, that he's come out for crosses, made some really good punches, and just keeping Arsenal a bit calmer in defence as they have a chance now to get forward here with Odegaard and Saka.
They do. Odegaard brings it down nicely in midfield, trying to get away from Fede Valverde. Nice ball into the midfield to find Thomas Partey. Partey now onto the left for Rice. Rice can find Martinelli if he's an option. He is an option. Martinelli, ball into the box, is saved well by Courtois, and Real Madrid can just about get it clear. Gathered by Rodrigo. Maybe a counter-attack for Los Blancos. No, because Rodrigo's running out of play on the near side. That's a perfect example of Real Madrid playing poorly, because not only were they all at sea defensively, but coming forward there was a chance for a counter-attack there, and Rodrigo has run that ball out of play.
He has. He couldn't keep it in play. A throw on to Arsenal, which is plays right into their hands of just trying to slow things down. I just wonder whether Martinelli could have tried to fire that across the 6-yard box. In fairness, Mikel Merino was well marked, so maybe Martinelli did the right thing by going for goal. But that might have been a second option. It's a long looping throw from Lewis Skelly aimed at Mikel Merino. Arsenal still with half a chance.
Yeah, until Declan Rice goes through Rodrigo in midfield. Completely accidental as he's trying to control the ball, but he ends up flattening the Madrid winger in the process. We'll just see a replay of it now. Valverde gets a toe in on it, not once but twice. And as he goes to bring the ball down, he ends up catching Rodrigo, and a free kick for Los Blancos.
Just a quick bit of housekeeping. I have checked on 3 different scoring sites now, and they don't have the yellow card for Rice anymore, so that would have been cancelled after the referee decided there was no penalty.
Yeah, that's good to note, because not only does that mean he's no longer on a tightrope for the rest of this one, but it does also mean as well that he will not be suspended for the first leg of the semi-finals, provided Arsenal get through to that round. Just quickly worth noting, Dani Ceballos is having a pretty extensive warm-up on the side of the pitch. He's been spoken about a lot this week by Carlo Ancelotti, probably more than any other Real Madrid player, which is rather shocking given the calibre of players they've got. But the main quote from the Italian manager was, "He is the spark for this comeback." Now, bearing in mind he didn't start this evening, I think those were some interesting quotes to look back on.
Yeah.
It looks pretty clear that he's going to come on at half-time. With 20 seconds left to go in the first half, it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, it certainly puts a lot of pressure on to Dani Ceballos. He's going to have to spark this Madrid team into some sort of life, because so far they've had a fair amount of the ball, but not too much in terms of chances. We've pretty much had the 7 minutes now, so we'll see how much more Mr. Letizia wants to add on.
Yeah, absolutely. As Tchouaméni plays it square to Raul Asensio, but that is the end of the first half. Well, there's been no goals at the Bernabeu, but it has been a thrilling first 45 minutes. A missed penalty from Bukayo Saka, an overruled penalty for Real Madrid, means somehow these two sides are still level at 0-0, which means Arsenal are still 3-0 up on aggregate.